Jernnifer Lopez has just canceled her entire summer tour. Anybody who bought tickets will now be refunded. This comes on the heels of everyone wondering, has she broken up with Ben Affleck? Now, they recently were seen holding hands at his daughter's graduation events, but man, things look tense. And now some are implying that it's because she's jealous of Jennifer Garner. Whew, this is getting intense. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Massive news for JLO. It's just crazy because I actually just finished watching This Is Me Now, and I'm prepping a big video where I'm going to break down all the clips, and I'm glad I watched it. I don't implore you watch it. It's a hard watch because it really does show a real JLO, but not in the way she thinks. It's so revealing, it's so telling, and now seeing the massive failure that it all actually was, which she talks about in this documentary, thinking she's making Purple Rain and she made a flop. She made another Geely. Basically, every time Ben Affleck and Jernnifer Lopez get together, they make a Geely. They should never, ever do things together on film. But I'm going to break that down for you. But there's so much to report on before I do that I want to bring it to you. But I see it now. The documentary really does show Ben Affleck as this guy who's just far more private, and JLo is more public. And even in that documentary, there's a moment where Ben's like, look, I had to change myself because I realized, you know, saying I'm not going to be on social media to JLo is like telling a fisherman we can't talk about water. Like, clearly it's part of her DNA. And so I have to be more comfortable with being a part of her life, just like she'd be a part of my life. And he justifies it in that way. But there's so much justification, projecting. The reality is, I think JLo is a massive narcissist. She talks about her father being a narcissist. Her mother was a narcissist. Her father was a workaholic. And she tries to use that as an excuse if that's who she surrounds herself with, but fails to realize that's actually who she is a combo. A workaholic narcissist is what she's become. And she's blaming it on others rather than taking accountability. So when I see her canceling the tour to spend time with family, I actually applaud it because I think she needs to, because this big thing that she invested in and tried to make a big deal was a massive flop. And she does need to take time. And all the reactions on TikTok everywhere else should be a wake-up call to her that, look, she's not as popular as she thinks. She's too much of a diva and not talented enough to be justified as such a diva. And she's had a lot of bad fan interactions that she needs to snap out of and be more open, thankful, and present when she's with her fans. That's just my 2 cents. There are so many moments out there where you can see her interacting with these fans, and I just feel like she's quite rude. But anyway, to see her cancel her full tour is a big deal. Now, this comes in through a newsletter she sent out to fans saying, special message, please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel that it was absolutely necessary. I promise I will make it up to you, and we will be together again soon. I love you all so much. Until next time. Everybody who bought tickets will be refunded. If you bought from a third-party site, good luck. It's all not a good look. It's not. So that may make more sense as to why things were looking so tense on their recent reunion at this graduation event. Now, even TMZ remarks the fact that this was just a few of the snaps. They had some PDA and were holding hands, but this interaction here specifically does seem to imply that it's still tense between them. Now, this is a family event. Both their families are there. I think that's JLo's kid and Ben's kid, and there's a lot going on. There's paparazzi. But again, doesn't look like it's perfect. And look, no relationship is ever perfect. There are always bad days. Maybe we caught it. But they left separately, and then they went and stayed at their separate houses after this event. So what does that tell you? Now, this article also coming in from sources, and honestly, it would make a little bit of sense. And I'm curious what you guys think of this. Is this crossing a line? Or, hey, it's the mother of his kids. He's allowed to be friends with his ex. Apparently, JLo hates when Ben Affleck seeks advice from ex-wife Jennifer Garner. Is this justified, or is this JLo again trying to control too much? But everyone knows that Ben and Jen remain close, Jennifer Garner, after the divorce. He confides in Jen about everything, even his issues with JLo, an insider told exclusively In Touch. JLo hates that Ben goes back to his sensible, down-to-earth ex-wife for advice and emotional support. She doesn't want Jen's input. Now, apparently, JLo didn't come around and tell Jen to back off, but both women have been down this road before. They know their boundaries, but she did tell Ben that his ex needs to stay away from him and butt out of their personal drama. Ben relayed that message to Jen, but I'm also pretty sure that probably didn't go over very well because it is the mother of his children and she has been there for him. And clearly they're trying to have a good relationship. And I support that. I think you do. If you have kids with a partner, you got to be amicable. You got to be kind, supportive for the sake of the children. But yeah, Ben Affleck comes first for Jennifer Garner. She's really worried about him. Jen would never tell Ben, I told you it wouldn't work out, but she does blame JLO for the pressure she's been putting Ben under. She sees how Ben struggles with keeping up with JLo's very public lifestyle. And Jen can't stand by and do nothing. It's not in her nature. She's dropped everything to make sure Ben doesn't spiral out of control again. At the end of the day, Ben is still the father of their children, and she will help him however she can. She's worried he's going to fall back into destructive behaviors of substance abuse, gambling, etc. Now, is that fair? Is that nice of her? Or is that an overstep? Is that JLo's issue right now? Is that what they should be working on together as a couple? Now, look, the pressure for JLo is only mounting. There was also this report that I believe now, and it seems like was part of it. She had a Las Vegas residence she was considering, but now that's also been put into to nothing. So, but maybe she positioned this like, look, I'll cancel the summer tour, which is a huge loss monetarily, by the way. And then maybe she'll be able to reactivate the Vegas residency later instead of going on tour. But will people care either way? Do people care about JLo anymore? That's what the real issue is. This canceling of the tour, her being heartsick, which I believe she is. I'm sure she enjoyed seeing her fans and going on tour and making money. I can't doubt that about her. I don't dislike this woman. That's not true. I don't like her after watching the documentary. I don't. At the same time, I can be a little bit empathetic to some of it, but she's dug this hole herself. This Is Me was just an oversaturation point, and I'll show you soon in the video, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. She's warned by multiple people close to her. She's warned by the studios themselves. Everybody's telling her, Ben Affleck included, this is a bad idea. She put too much out there. She thought she was Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift said no to appearing in the doc. She's filming everything, and then she's filming it as if she's making this epic big thing that just completely flopped, both the album and the movie. And it's like a movie, a documentary, and an album all at the same time, and no one wanted any of it. If she had made maybe just one thing, it might have been interesting, but instead this trifecta, assuming that we cared so much, was her downfall. But that's the problem with JLo. She has this diva complex that's gotten so out of hand that it's a bad news. So knowing the diva complex, but then seeing that she actually then went and said, yeah, I got to cancel this tour, this is a huge L. Huge L that she has to take. Not only were ticket sales bad, but now she's got to cancel it outright. And so rather than doing that, yes, it makes sense that she's got to be heartsick and want to spend time with the family. And I do believe there's a part of it that's true. I'm sure given all this stuff that's happening with Ben and potentially the breakup or trying to keep it going, the last thing she needs right now is to go on tour. So both things could be true. But if she sold out these stadiums, you bet your butt she would have still made it up to go on tour. You know what I mean? That's why I don't believe this. It's got to be a combo of bad ticket sales and now family drama. Let's use the family drama to get out. Also, she's dropping this news on a Friday, which is the worst time. It's actually the best time for a celebrity to try to do a news dump. So it's sort of released, not talked about as much. And then when Monday comes around, new news pushes it away. So very calculated as usual. But it's a lot, man. She's about to lose it all. And I know a lot of people have been hating on her on TikTok. I don't hate her that much. I don't like her. Not a huge fan. I think she's too much of a diva. And I think her fans have shined a mirror on how she needs to treat her fans, which is with more respect and more presence. There are so many moments in the documentary that made me uncomfortable, frustrated me, show you who the true JLo is. And it was very off-putting. She doesn't see it. She thinks she's this, big artistic diva. But the reality is she does need this reality check. And I hope this reality check allows to help ground her in a way that, helps her in moving forward. Because, look, I don't want it bad for anybody. A lot of people on TikTok were very mean. She did cause it to herself. But she clearly does have a support system around her. She pays for a lot of friends. But she has some friends, clearly some big names and people who stood up and helped her in this doc. And I'm sure they'll help her now. Especially if things with Ben end up the way they are. But could this all be a way to try to make sure she doesn't lose him? Could the relationship be real? Honestly, maybe. It's hard for me to tell. It's the one thing I will credit her on. There's one moment in particular where she breaks down about the pressure. And, you know, I think anybody who works a lot for their families can relate to that. And I still am on the fence of how much I believe it, but there was the only point in the doc where I did give her some like empathy. And look, I don't wish somebody to lose their whole tour, everything, their persona, their brand, everything, just because they're dumb and rude. It's intense. But what do you think? Do you think this is all deserved? I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Before you go there, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button, and let us know what you think. Honestly, look, it's true. She needs to speak up about Diddy. She really does need to speak up. I think at this point, she tries to like paint herself as this victim in the documentary. But JLO, you didn't really admit any of your faults or admit to any of the bad things that you did. You just put the blame on everybody else and painted yourself as this artist hero. You didn't really open up in the way you should have, and instead you revealed too much, which was a little gloaty and ended up making you look, I think, worse. Your friends and the studios that warned you were right. You did make a mistake. You thought you talk about the fact that it all could be a disaster. Well, now it is. Now it's really affecting the bottom line, and that's not good for the JLO brand. But Hollywood forgives. People forgive. Could she bounce back? I think she will. We'll keep you posted. Do you want her to? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.